Good evening, class. This is Alfred Goodman, here to do the story overview for Chapter 20. That's bringing it all together, change and leadership in action. This should be our last chapter that we're discussing for the evening. We should be able to bring everything together. So the story overview. Basically, we all know in leadership and other situations that nothing ever goes according to plan. And the four frames also comes into play heavily in this. And the protagonist in this, which is the high school principal, new hire, David King, he is aware of the four frames and how to reframe. And basically, what we'll have done by the rest of the individuals in the group is they're going to talk about the frames and how Mr. King does it, as well as how they would do it, and compare. So, a little bit about the story. So, the new high school, Robert F. Kennedy High, is only a couple years old. It won a bunch of awards for the architecture of it, the design, and basically they restructured how the urban education buildings should look. They made it with a house system, so they had kind of like a centralized faculty area in the middle, and then branches off for different grades, and they called them the houses. Each particular house had its own little chain of command, like a house leader, house master, different teachers for each house. So basically, this school was looked at, to be the best of the best for the Chicago area. They brought in diversity in students. They brought in diversity in teachers. These are the best teachers in all of the states. They brought them to this school, as well as the first principal that was there for the first 2 years. One of the best in according to them in the country. The students that got chosen to attend here, however, were chosen from one of the toughest and poorest areas in the Chicago city, which obviously created a lot of initial issues in the beginning. One of the first things that happened that started creating conflict was the achievement scores for all the grades had declined, and they weren't showing any signs of improvement, and especially not when the principal, David King, came on board either 2 years later. His predecessor he broke, and he was very good, and he just couldn't handle it any longer. There were several different things going on at the time that he ended up leaving. There were fights with students and faculty, which created a need for security. There were fights in the lunchroom where they were vandalizing the school. There were allegations of misuse or cuts in funds from the school board. Other teachers were kind of basically going at each other from the knees. Basically stuff started getting really ugly. When Mr. King came on board, his first interviews with everybody had something to say. They were complaining, and then he had a big, meeting with everybody, and nobody really had anything to say, but you could feel the tension in the room. By the end of that meeting, basically all hell broke loose, and everybody was complaining and saying that it just takes one explosion for somebody to actually start talking about things and going from there. The main characters that we have involved here, we're talking Mr. King himself, maybe the previous principal, the students, maybe the parents, the faculty, teachers, and the community.